Yo, what is going on everybody? Welcome to the first episode of my Versus series. This will be a series where I predict who would be the winner in a matchup between two Naruto characters. I'll be using facts with a little bit of speculation, since there's no clear way to know which techniques the user would be using at a certain time and what they would be doing to counter each other's techniques. I've been wanting to do this series for quite a while, but I decided to wait until the manga was over so that when people watch this video in the future, people can't say, oh well, this person knows this now and all this other stuff, so everything is 100% current. And I guess I could have waited until after the movie, but I wanted to start it now. So, without further ado, this matchup will be between my boy Neji and my boy Lee. These two guys have been wanting to fight each other for the longest time, but unfortunately, due to the death of Neji, this matchup could unfortunately never happen. First, I'll be talking about each character's strengths and weaknesses. Second, I'll talk about their skills, abilities, and how they compare to each other. And finally, I'll give my verdict on who would win based on the information that's given, then who would win based on speculation. Since Rock Lee isn't able to use ninjutsu or genjutsu, his strongest assets are 1. His taijutsu, and 2. His insane need to train. Rock Lee's obvious weaknesses are ninjutsu and genjutsu, but I also have to say another one of his weaknesses is his intelligence. Pretty much every single fight that I've seen Rock Lee in, he just goes in guns blazing. Or feet blaze, I don't know. But I've never really seen him go into a battle with a plan, or get out of a sticky situation without just powering up or trying new taijutsu moves. Since Neji has the Byakugan and he can use the Gentle Fist, his ninjutsu is an obvious strength, as well as his taijutsu and intelligence. Neji's been well known for being a genius in taijutsu, as well as the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. Also, even though taijutsu is his specialty, Neji's also able to use fire, water, and earth release. Even I didn't know that until recently. So far I've only seen 2 weaknesses that Neji's had. One is his genjutsu, since I've never actually seen him use it. His second weakness is his strength. Since Neji's main specialty is using the Gentle Fist like all Hyugas, he was never really required to be strong or learn how to hit hard or anything like that. His style requires just a touch and good chakra placement. Next, I'll be talking about their skills and abilities. The technique that Rock Lee, as well as other characters like Naruto and Sasuke, constantly use is Goken, or Strong Fist, which is the exact opposite of Juken, which is Gentle Fist. Its sole purpose is to cause external damage and break your bones. This technique is what makes Lee's normal taijutsu so dangerous. The thing that makes a Strong Fist so devastating is the fact that you don't need to know any special or crazy techniques. That's a bonus, but just regular punches and kicks can devastate the average shinobi and take him down for the count. Lee's strongest technique, without opening the 8 gates, is the front lotus, generally known as the primary lotus. During this technique, Rock Lee kicks the opponent into the air, uses Shadow of the Dancing Leaf to get behind them, grabs and then slams the opponent into the ground while spinning at a crazy speed. Although the primary lotus deals an insane amount of damage on its victim, it also leaves the user extremely exhausted. If this technique somehow didn't work, Rock Lee would be forced to use his trump card, the 8 gates. The 8 gates are limits on a person's chakra system. The gates keep you weak, but they also keep your body from expiring too soon. By opening these gates, it allows the user to surpass their own physical limits, but it also causes great damage on the body. The gates 1 through 8 are opening, healing, life, pain, limit, view, wonder, and death. Opening each gate allows the user to become stronger and faster. Also, the more gates that you open, the bigger the strain on your body. When the 4th gate, the gate of pain, is open, the user's muscle tissue starts to tear. The damage will increase more and more, and when you get to the 7th gate, the Gate of Wonder, the user's muscle fibers are literally being torn to shreds. And if anything touches them, it'll cause an intense pain. Lastly, when the 8th gate, the Gate of Death, is open, the user becomes approximately 100 times stronger than they were before. But that's only at the cost of their own life. Lee's only able to open the 6th gate, and while in that state, his strongest technique is the Reverse Lotus, generally known as the Hidden Lotus. It's pretty much the same thing as the primary Lotus, except instead of one kick, it's a barrage of kicks, and then finally, the user hits them to the ground with an open-handed palm and a kick at the same time. This technique is usually fatal. It's also a one-time deal, because once the user uses this technique, it's unlikely that the user will be able to stand afterwards. Now on to Neji. Neji possesses the famous Byakugan. It gives the user a 360-degree field of vision except for the blind spot on the back of the neck, and that's without activating the Byakugan. When the Byakugan is activated, the user is granted a 50-meter field of vision. Through training, Neji's lengthened his up to 800 meters. The Byakugan can see through all solid objects and smoke screens. It can also see through clones and anything that would otherwise hide the opponent. It can also see high-speed movement, magnify objects, and see in infrared. The user's vision's accuracy is even greater than that of Sharingan users. Next, we have Neji's fighting style. He uses the Gentle Fist, which is a form of hand-to-hand combat used by the Hyuga clan. The Gentle Fist inflicts internal damage into the chakra system. This inflicts severe damage to your internal organs, and as Kakashi said in the past, no matter how tough you are, you can't train your organs. A secondary effect of the Gentle Fist is closing down chakra points. No chakra, no fighting. Neji's strongest and most used techniques are the Mountain Crusher, Rotation, and 64 Palms, which he evolved into the 128 Palm later in the anime. While doing rotation, Neji spins at a high velocity up to around 750 miles per hour, while releasing chakra from every Tenketsu in his body. When doing this, he creates a shield of chakra around himself, and it's said to be the most powerful and perfect defense, surpassing even Gaara's sand. Neji's 8 trigram 64 palm is a dangerous technique, where he attacks and strikes the enemy with a series of lightning-fast blows. By striking 64 chakra points throughout the opponent's chakra system, their flow of chakra can be stopped, making them unable to even stand. While in the 64 palm, the opponent is striked with 2 strikes first, then another 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, and then another 32, making 64 hits, all in a matter of seconds. Finally, we have Neji's Mountain Crusher. Chakra is emitted from the user's palm into an enemy's vital points from a great distance and blows them off their feet with a tremendous force before they even know that they're hit. Now for the final verdict. Judging by the information that's given, because of the sheer strength and speed that the 8 gates gives the user, regardless of how many techniques or how smart you are, no one would be a match for the 8 gates, unless you're Madara. So, judging on the information, I've got to give the win to Rock Lee. Now, on to the fun part. Speculation, guessing, and imagination. Even when his weights are off, Lee can't compete with Neji's speed. The sole reason that Lee decided to learn the 8 gates is so he could compete with Neji. And now that he's learned it, it's not the fact that Lee's so fast that Neji can't see him, it's just that his body wouldn't be able to react. So, since the fact that they both know each other very well, I would assume that Lee would know that he wouldn't last 2 seconds in the ring with Neji unless he went 8 gates. So, I'm gonna assume that he would go 8 gates, or to the 6th gate, as soon as the battle started. Now, I know, and I'm sure all of you guys know, as soon as Neji saw Lee do the 8 gates against Gaara, he's been coming up with a plan for that. Now, I don't know what that plan is, but I would have to imagine that it has to do with the stuff that we've seen so far. Neji's a lot smarter than all of us when it comes to fighting, so I'm sure that his plan will be much better than mine. If I was Neji, I would know that Lee can't just go straight into the 6th gate and whoop ass. He has to charge it up like he's a Saiyan. As soon as I saw Lee going into the gates, I would start rotating, and rotate, and rotate, and continue to rotate until Lee tired himself out. Because there's no way he can touch him. And I also know that Lee can't stay in the 8 gates for long. That would be plan number 2. Plan number 1 would be not to let him go 8 gates in the first place. But if somehow he did go 8 gates, I would just rotate until he tired himself out and he couldn't do it anymore. Therefore, judging by speculation and imagination, I would have to give the win to Neji, because you can't beat what you can't touch. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and let me know if you guys like this series and if I should continue. I'm gonna continue anyway, but let me know if you guys think I should. I appreciate you guys watching and you guys' constant support. Comment, like, and subscribe. Alright, thanks guys. Peace.